Okay, welcome back to the show. Let's Paint TV. Let's Paint TV. Shoot. Gotta be careful now. Just a second. Okay. I believe that's going to be good for the time being. Just trying to not get any paint on me. Of course, this is a how to paint show, but I'm not planning on getting any paint on me for today's episode. And as such, that just leaves us here with you, me and you. Just you and me. Just me. Just you and me, baby. Just you and me. Just you and me. Naked. We're going to be naked. Not really. But maybe subfuge. Subfuge. What is that word, subfuge? I know it does something. It has some, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Subfusive, subterfuge. I think there's another little syllable that I'm missing. Subterfuge. It's an important word, I believe. So we shall, and it has. I don't know. Subterfuge. Anyway, you're watching Let's Paint TV. 818-528-4516. You want to talk about painting, guys? Hey, what's up, Prospect? Prosperect? You want to talk about painting? You want to talk about other things on your mind? On my mind? We could do that. There's a chat room. There is the phone number. You can do what you want with it. Let's let everyone know we're here. Just let them know. We are live. We are live right now. 818. Oh boy. 818-528. Okay, let me see if I can get this here. Crud. Subterfuge. Yes, that's the word. Subterfuge. Subterfuge. That's the word that I was looking for. I don't really know what it means, but it's an important word. Subterfuge. There is some meaning behind that, and as I said, I don't really know what it is. But we are here to ponder this and that, and all that is accessible to our minds at the very moment right now. And I'm just letting everyone know in various outlets that we are live, and we're taking your calls. 818-528-4516 is the number. Let me put this away. I'm in good clothes for the most part, so I am because I have some sort of a meeting of some sort where I do not want to have paint on my clothes. So, and that's going to happen soon after the program. So that because of that, as such, I'm going to be avoiding getting paint. But we can talk about paint. We can talk about so many things. Or you want to just hear me blabber on. Hear me discuss whatever really is, at least what I ultimately filter through my mind, that I put forth, that I find at a moment's notice worthy of discussion, or not, or take a chance, take a gander of what is worthy of discussion. And right just off the bat, off the top, off the tip, after the tip of my tongue, off the top of my head, I little blank to some degree. A subterfuge, says Bongo. It's the layer of fudge between the fudge few. Subterfuge. I think that's something that maybe is in a nuclear power plant or something. That somehow, I know that's not right, but it could. We could find a way actually to use the word subterfuge, which again I still have not really wrapped my head, my teeny little brain, around what the hell that word means, at least at the moment. And I'm pretty sure that Bongo's answer is incorrect. I don't think it has anything to do with fudge. But it would be nice to use the word subterfuge. Let's learn about that word, and find a way to use that in the same sentence with nuclear power plant. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what a subterfuge is. It's that thing that's in a nuclear power plant. Now now I know I got it. I'm probably certain that I'm showing my lack of knowledge, concentration, my stupidity with a statement like that. But maybe I'm onto something. I don't really know, and I don't really care. As you're watching the program Let's Paint TV, we're on every day, 11 to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, at least for the most part, as best we can, as most for the time being, is forever and ever and evermore. And we have a way for you to support the show. And if you go to the channel here, Let's Paint TV channel on YouTube, there is a link to Patron, not the tequila drink, that fancy handcrafted labels, hand built out of oak, barrels, all that kind of good stuff. It's a separate entity, I'm pretty sure. For patron, not Patreon. Anyway, so, but you, for as little as $1 a day, $1 a day, $1 a month, that is, you could support this program. And if you enjoy what we do here, and I know 5 of you consistently do, 5 of you. Actually, it might be actually a little better number. I think our numbers, maybe only 5 or 10 at the most watch it live, but we have on repeat, we probably get about maybe 30. And so that's it. That's it. So what? That's what it kind of comes down to. Hey, no. Hey, no. Hey, Jude. Hey, Jude. All right, so you can see I'm not really being terribly active, except for I am active. At least I'm aware that we are here. We're here to talk to you. No agenda. And I think we've been floating on that for a while, the no agenda. And I'm not really certain if that's ever going to change. And maybe that's good. Maybe that's a good thing that we don't have an agenda, frankly. Too many programs, too many operations have these agendas that make things a little too much browbeating. We do a certain amount of browbeating here, and how could we not with the eyebrows that I have been given? You got to step up on your advertising, says Snail Duck. Well, I just did. I just did my little promotional, asking you to donate $1 a month or more. Dr. Foxmeek just donated $10. That's thank you, Foxmeek. And we have 2 other people too who have donated $4 and $1. So we're at a total of 4. Is it 4 or 3? Whatever. We're at I think we're at a level of about $14 a month to keep this show going. I laugh, but I'm really crying. 818-528-4516 is the number. I heard something interesting from one of those who is this person? Anyway, he's a commentator, I believe, on CBS Radio, and not Charles Kuralt. That guy is not around anymore. He's not. He's like one of those guys. But a little more like more of a commentator. So he's giving his own little gist of sorts. And but he discovered, read some tidbit of information about that practice, basically stating practice is only maybe 17% of your of the output of your success, ultimately 17%. So the old adage, practice makes perfect, may not necessarily be the case, in that there is more to do with how you were, your genetics, how you were born, which is kind of interesting. Hit up Reddit, Facebook. Well, we did do a little post on Facebook. We always post on Facebook. I don't really do Reddit or read it. I can't figure out that. I try, and then it's a beast. It's a monster that I don't really have. It's not. It's like Tumblr. It's like you throw stuff in there, and no traction. No traction. So it's easy when you get no traction. It's easy to give up, and I definitely have given up on Reddit. But I know there is a little sidebar of community of interesting people that find occasionally some of my videos interesting on that thing. But I don't spend any time over there at all. I don't really spend any time on the internet. I do, but I do too much probably, as we all do. But I don't go searching for videos to watch. That's one thing I don't do. But if it does show up, say, on someone's news, like on the Facebook news feed, I may check it out, which I do. I will. So I guess what it gets down to is I'm not actively searching for anything. But if someone's found something interesting, I'll probably check it out, I guess. But that's interesting, the idea that only 17% is applies, and that's interesting. And so the idea that if the Malcolm McDowell or McCullough or some guy, Malcolm somebody stated if you do something for about 10,000 hours or 100,000 hours, you'll get to being good. And I guess there's some truth to that too, but only when it gets down to it, it's also a genetic kind of deal. Your genetic disposition of sorts, like in myself being an artist, the fact that my genetic family connection roots has a lot to do with why I'm an artist, whereas a lot of people who don't necessarily have a kind of a maybe a wacky or a different strange, though I wouldn't say I have terribly different background or weird or strange, but maybe somewhere down the line I do. It adds and makes it easier to be an artist, I think. Whereas if you have a life, a family that maybe is not conducive to that kind of structure of the or open to it, it might be harder. I don't know. It's food for thought, though. It's kind of interesting. So you don't have to practice. Actually, I think you still probably could benefit from practicing. Looking at paintings, there's a contest out right now, and I put one of my paintings up in the contest. It's for Bombay Martinis or something like that. It's some contest. I throw stuff up. They're like free contests and whatnot. So I'll send it. You just upload an image, and so. But I did. But I was just sort of looking at all the other paintings that are up on the as my competition. And it's interesting to see where you can kind of tell where everyone's at with their work and what they're doing. You can, some of it, clearly you can tell some people have only begun to paint in the last couple of years, and they kind of don't really have any structure, which is nothing wrong with that. I tell you, I'm not a stickler about that, but it does it does kind of show in the work, sort of a naivete, which I like. I mean, see, I like that. People would say that possibly about what I do, and yet you're doing the naivete potentially at times kind of thing, but you're doing it after been painting something or painting the 100,000 hours kind of combo. But it's interesting to see that. And then of course there's beginner's luck, which may have more to do with the idea that you don't need to practice, and that you probably could beginner's luck is more about your genetic background, that probably meaning if you're getting beginner's luck where things kind of work out too easy without you even trying, then I think that might apply to the fact that you might have a genetic connection to whatever that you're doing, and that that's probably basically, if you got beginner's luck, then that's a good sign that you're onto something, and keep doing it, I guess. There's a lot of pitfalls, though. Obviously, there's a lot of false stops and misdirections, of course, as I constantly battle. I tell you, I think I have stuff figured out, and then I don't. Obviously, I do let things get in my way, and that tends to murky the waters quite a bit, and I guess that would be in terms of the fact that I'm not selling whatever I'm excited about, and so we relying on the sale, and if we rely on the sale, then of course we are going to be inundated with that, and we will ultimately possibly lose sight of our real manifesto, our true manifesto of who we are in our existence on this place on earth, this time in life. And then of course we'll die, and then maybe we'll reincarnate or whatever, if that's possible, and do something else. So there you go. Now Prospect says, every painting I do is worse than the last one for some reason, but I still enjoying it. Prospect, look, that's fascinating, and what I gotta commend you for is that, and I see a bright future for you in that is mainly the last sentence. In that last sentence you say, but I still enjoy it. And man, that is man, woman, child, that is the real deal. You still enjoy it, even if you are maybe moving away from some sort of clarity or success or cognitive theories. You're moving into a direction of that's hard to understand, and so I think on the surface it looks like you are failing. On the surface it looks like it's worse, as you said. The painting's worse than the other painting, but that's all that means is that you're just sort of moving it into another realm. It could be simply, I could imagine possibly what you're saying is that you're sort of moving away from maybe a sort of a more accurate representational subject result in the work, and you're exploring more maybe loosely based thoughts, theories, brush movements, and abstraction and whatnot. So you can get lost in it, and it may come off as shitty. I think I have beginner's luck at failing. Well, that's good. I think that means you should stay with that. There's a sort of a jokingly, because I guess, I think kind of what I kind of talk about can seem as if I'm joking about it all, but there is something to it. There really is something to it, and if you can kind of embrace it, I think there's a point, or there's validity in that. How do you succeed from failing all the time? It's a tricky question, and then if you are, and that's been asked of me before, how can you be truly failing if you're somewhat successful at it? Doesn't really make much sense, and well, that's because we've turned the words upside down, or ideas upside down, which is good. I think that's it's a positive thing to do that. Cider or beer? I don't know what you're talking about, but I couldn't. I don't think I've ever had alcohol cider. Is that what you're saying? No, I've never done that. I've never really tried cider in spirit form. Though I've always thought that would be kind of an interesting thing to interesting business deal would be to make pruno, which is would be sort of like cider, the prison alcohol made out of raisins or I guess prunes, and just make that available to the regular population. I think I would do well, actually. I think there would be, at least it would be novel. It would be a novel thing to provide and to sell. Also, I've also thought about making candles. So when people die, usually by accident or murdered, and off to the side of the road, they have these candles. And I wanted to start making a business where I sell candles that say RIP on it. So I could just kind of get into the macabre lifestyle of providing weird weird things. I bet you pruno could be actually quite good if we do it right. Obviously, if it's being done, if it's being made in prison, I more than likely it's different batch here and there. You're not going to have a quality control. But maybe if you were to, well, actually, pruno, really good pruno is probably just a brandy, frankly, right? That's probably what it is. It's just it's a good brandy. I don't know. I don't really know, frankly. We are just venturing on all. We're hitting on all cylinders, or no, we're not. I think I'm missing one of my. I need some new spark plugs, frankly, to be placed in my head. I think there's a loose link there, but we're still putting along. We're still motoring along, and I thank you for that. Thank the the stars above. I think. I think that. I think I saw a putty cat. I think I saw that. 818-528-4516. There's Taylor in the room, and good to see you, Taylor. We are not painting, but we're talking about painting, or art, or life, or whatever you might want to talk about. Feel free to call us. 818-528-4516. This Sunday, if you happen to be in Chicago, I said Los Angeles and Sacramento. No, Chicago. This Sunday, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be. I'm actually having an art show, and I'll be performing. Julius Caesar Gallery. Kind of excited. I might start hyperventilating and do all the nervous things that you're supposed to do or do because of the human condition of sorts. But I do look forward to it. And you know, it's weird though. Performing's weird, or doing big projects are weird in the sense of it's very exciting, and you want to do it, you want to do it. But then there's these moments where you're thinking, oh man, I'm kind of looking forward to having it over with, you know, and you haven't even done it. But there's a part of you, and what is that part? Is that the part of the flight? I think it's the flight, or I don't know. But I do look forward to it, and I do look forward to doing that again and again and again. I gotta say though, and actually this development or this thing is sort of a new wrinkle of sorts, so that's good. But it is kind of awkward to be doing sort of the same thing all the time. Kind of like what we do here all the time. But I'm aware of that, and there's nothing terribly slick about my presence. So I'm not gonna, most likely, because of that, that's why I can keep going and doing this every day, Monday through Friday, 11 to 12 noon, for the most part. Is that because I'm really free to fly, no baggage, with all my baggage. Frankly, I'm free to fly with all my baggage because there's no expectations. And I gotta say, that is an interesting challenge to have, because then it sort of makes you strive for something. I don't know if that's attention, I guess so. Or success. I don't know. You're striving for something. Legitimacy. Just to communicate, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is attention, but, a lot of times we use words, or words are, the wrong words, meaning this, they're the same meaning, but there can be like there can be a number of words that, can be sort of negative or positive, but they ultimately are meaning the same thing. Have you noticed that? There's a lot of words like that. So you could say, so a negative thing, or at least could be applied negative, would be, you're looking for attention, or, sort of, that's like wow, man, all negative, or somehow I perceive that as negative. Whereas if it was set up or said that you're trying to reach out, you're trying to communicate. See, communicate. then hey, that feels as there's more validity, there's more justice and motivation of there's extra brownie points there, but you could be doing the same thing and yet a labeled attention getter or something like that. But I guess there is that element. We can look at things so many different ways. And all I can say is that I would probably say that there is truth to all that, and that doesn't really at the end it's nothing but a hill of beans. It's nothing but a big mountain of Van Camp's pork and beans. A gigantic mountain. That'd be a fun painting. A gigantic mountain of Van Camp's pork and beans. Speaking of ideas and painting, or we tried some painting. I tried some painting yesterday. I would have liked to gotten back to this painting here. I don't really have a good shot of it because of my. I got to fix the camera, but we did get a good start actually. That I like to go back to that, and that was you and I kind of hamming it out, hashing it out. Potatoing it out. Meat and potatoing it out. Hashing it out. Baconing it out. French frying it out. Smoking it out. We can smoke it out. We can hash it out. Can we do anything out? What else can we do? What other outs do we have that are in the vernacular? Vernacular. What's the name of the thing that goes up on a hillside? Did I say that? Is that the right one? Or vernacular? All right, taking your calls, 818-528-4516. Again, we are just sort of in a holding pattern in terms of doing anything for today. But nevertheless, we are taking the calls and reading your comments. And so, fantastic. Let me... let's check out some of these other, check our Facebook page. Okay, not much going on. Fantastic. Okay, forgive me, I was reading an email of importance, which doesn't happen, but maybe, I tell you, I probably only get maybe one interesting email every couple of days. I would like to say it was every day, but it's really, I'd say I probably get only one good email that is like interesting. Well, anyway, this is sort of interesting. Interesting enough. Maybe I get a good email, Dame. And I think, how would it be if you were of some, what if you're like President Obama or, some important person like Beyonce? Could you imagine all the emails they get? Kim Kardashian. Oh my God. I mean, what is going on with that. I mean, you know there's no way that they can even read all their emails. You know how many people try to contact them? Well, first of all, they probably don't even have an email address. Or if it is, it's like hidden. It's like, you know, like no one knows it. It's probably not made public. But you can only imagine. And they would have hired staff reading the emails, and, you know, manager or somebody, assistants, filtering out everything, I suppose. We're not there yet at Let's Paint TV, by no means, and I couldn't imagine ever being in that position, frankly. Snell Duck says, I'd love to hear what you do outside of Let's Paint TV. Well, really, that is kind of what I do. I live I live the life that you see, and there's not much difference. I'll tell you the only difference that I'll tell you the difference between what I don't do here with you in my outside world is I'm probably less. I'm not as extroverted. I'm actually more introverted. I'm not the life of the party unless it's some sort of performance of some sort. But I paint. I just paint, and I try to, you know, follow up leads, you know, email people, and that's what I do on the outside of this show. But you know, if you watch this show, you kind of get a sense that at the same time I'm not terribly much different. Particularly this show that we do here every day, Monday through Friday. It's not the same as always as what you might see in a performance nature. This is more behind the scenes. This is me having a cup of coffee with you, frankly. So yeah, there is not really much difference. I do spend a lot of time because of to try to, you know, make a living. I do paint a lot of landscape painting. That is a hit or miss kind of operation. I actually kind of enjoy the process because you know, it's sort of in me to do, but it's not paying the bills that much always either. So it's kind of scary, I guess. I probably worry more about those kind of things than I should. But I guess we all have something, you know, that we spend time worrying about. But I don't necessarily recommend too much of the worrying phase of life. It's kind of sucks if you do too much of it. I've experienced. I found to be the case. 818-528-4516. That is the number. Now I mentioned Chicago, but we're also going to Baltimore, guys, which I'm also very excited about later in the month, like the 18th, 19th, 20th, something like that. I don't have the exact. It'll be a number of performances, guys, and it's part of this High Zero Festival in Baltimore. And in fact, that email I was mentioning is some you know, like a little a community-based newspaper wants to maybe talk to me about it, I guess. So a little interview I need to follow up on. Kind of fun. See, that's kind of email I like. That you know, that kind of thing, or some sort of request to do something, you know, like to perform. And of course, I also like the emails where it says, you know, you sold something from some online uh, online merchant operation. You know, one of these online places where I have my paintings for sale. So those are good. Those are good emails. But like I said, I get maybe one of those. Frankly, I get one of those a month. I was saying every other day I get a good email like that. I get an email like that. It seems once a month actually, but I'm being a little pessimistic here. We all try our own way, never conform because no one truly has their shit together with art, says Prosperact. You know, I guess, you know, there is a lot of truth to that. But I gotta say there are some people that seem to be, they ooze success. They are success, you know, and I got a feeling that these people are from another world. You know, I think they're Martians or something, and they're not using their human their brain. They're using like a some sort of extraterrestrial operation. They're not one of us. They're not doubting. They're not questioning. They are so certain of themselves. I'm always wary of types that exude that kind of confidence. But at the same time, I'm also jealous and envious because they do, and they always seem to have their life all perfect and together and all that. And you know, you got to realize that is just not really the case, even though they may financially be in good shape, or they may appear, to be, you know, financially or happy. It is not always what it seems. And you know, there's perfect. We can name so many people who, you know, are successful, and yet that didn't make them. It didn't keep the peace. You know, it didn't keep the peace in their mind, their soul. You know, so there's always something that can eat you alive, and that's the. I think that's the real battle of our existence. If you are of a thinking mind, a lot of people survive Earth because we just work, and we do what we're told to do, and we don't you know, have to ponder. The minute we start pondering, that's where we can get into delve into areas of abyss, an area that we sometimes don't come out whole. You know, it doesn't always feel. You don't feel as good as you should feel after pondering or wondering. You know, but on the same token. You could benefit. You can achieve. It's like walking a. I think it's sometimes as if you're walking a tightrope. You know. But I think if you fall off, it's not the end of the world. It really is not, and you got to remember that. But anyway, that's why I like to delve into making paintings and art and living in that scenario. But you know, you wonder, well, geez, what if maybe I should have just been a construction worker, you know, all these years, you know. Maybe I'd be better off. I don't think that would have been the case. I'm pretty convinced that I find solace and happiness and success to some degree in the process of making art. it'd be nice to be a more successful, but you can only, you can hope, you can try, but that's not, what is success is always a whole, double-edged sword, for that matter. Anyway, there's plenty of examples of how that goes awry or goes wrong. I suspect the life of an artist or the life of a creative soul, can have some serious ups and downs. And I don't think you ever get. I would like to think that you could somehow get over on it in a way, but I don't know if it's in the cards always. I think sometimes you have to revisit things, possibly even things that you've even sort of found peace with, but they might show up again. I don't know. It's I wonder if that's probably just talking about myself here, but is this a this has become now a psychotherapy session here. All right, 818-528-4516. That's what happens when you're not painting. You start wondering. When you're not doing something, right? That's where you start wondering. That's why it is, as much as we should probably not do stuff, we should at the same time do stuff. How much time during the day should we be doing stuff versus not doing stuff? I don't know. 8 hours a day, work. Snell Duck says, people who have no self-criticism or self-doubt usually have nothing of value to deliver. I suspect that's the case. I mean, I want to believe that, but like I said, there are people who run the world, who exude and run the world in politics and in the arts and in business. The captains of the industry, the leaders, almost all of them almost none of them show any doubt. They never admit failure. They're always, they're always got the poker face. Poke, poker face. Poker face. Is that a Lady Gaga song? I think it is. Poke face. I know I'm doing it wrong. Yeah. I think we can. I think for some of us we can pull that off. Some people can pull it off, and maybe we need to have that. I'm not really convinced that is. I suspect that's a problem though. I think you can come, but see, there's problems no matter what. So maybe you do need to have a poker face if you can handle it. And I don't know if I'm always able to do that. Handle. I don't know what I can handle, frankly. But I can handle being here every day, I think. Possibly. I can handle doing what I do. I can do that. And that's about all I can hope for, I think. Do what you got to do. Or do what you can do. Do what you can do. And call me tomorrow on the show as we leave here in the next minute or so. Unless you want to call me in the next minute or so. Do what you can do. Keep going. And that might be just enough. to get you started. Sometimes you just got to get started. I think that's the problem with a lot of problems in our minds. We get stuck, and a lot of times we just need to get going. I know I do. I battle that. So I can only assume that there's probably one or two of you out there that may benefit from just pushing on and of course doing something that you like to do. What kind of evidence is gonna point away from that idea? You don't even need that. Is so obvious evidence. It's so you don't need any kind of research on that. It's just straight up obviousness. Just do what you want to do what you like to do, or do stuff that you don't want to do. That sucks, but even in stuff that sucks, you can find a degree of happiness somehow. Tricky, but I think we can do that somehow. All right, I was able to avoid getting any paint on me, I think, and so I'm glad for that, because I'm in my good clothes today. And to close the show, I'm going to sing you a song. Good night, sweet baby. The show is over. Ba-da-da-da-da. We'll see you tomorrow, and I'll be painting. Do-do-do-do. Good night, sweet baby. The show is over. We'll see you tomorrow. And that's it. It's hot in here. I didn't have the fan, and I'm sweating. Okay. Just sitting here, I'm sweating. Bye-bye.